of their origins, and they said they originated from the Guyanas, from the Galibi Indians, and that is an area on the boundary between Suriname and French Guiana. And actually what we find here in the pottery is a reflection of that origin. And also what we find here at Argyle, and this is a very pure site where we have been able to identify a lot of island carib pottery. We find it associated, typically island carib pottery, as you can see with these little embellishments, associated with pottery which shows scratched surfaces. And that is a material that is longer known in the Windward Islands, and it's older than what we find here. The island carib, what we call Kayo ware. Now what does that mean? In the previous period that this was heavily used, this is typically the pottery of domestic ware. Vessels for cooking, boiling, also cassava griddles on which you bake your cassava, they are heavily scratched. So this is a local trade, a local ceramic trade, a local thing that was applied to the pottery of the people who were living here prior to the entry of the island Caribs. But we find it here combined with the island carib pottery, and that means that, and that suggests that the island Caribs live together with and intermarried with the local Amerindians. And so the local women, of course, still using the domestic pottery of previous times.
The professor also showed us some of the pieces found at the escape site and explained to us their significance.
Well, this is a selection, very small selection of pottery and finds from that escape site, where we found material dating back to, say, about AD 500. And this is all made by Amerindians who live there. And we call them the Saladoid people, after a site on the lower Orinoco in Venezuela, because basically they originated on the Orinoco and went from there to the coast of Venezuela and to Trinidad, and from Trinidad all the way to Puerto Rico and the islands of the Lesser Antilles. Now, this is very attractive pottery, and this is only a small selection, but you see, this is, for instance, painted white on red. First they applied red paint all over the vessel, and then they removed and then they applied a thick layer of white paint, and they removed the white paint at certain places so that the red showed up again, and they added incised lines so as to strengthen the details of the ornamentation. Otherwise they had a very delicate type of ornamentation as well. This is a very fine line.
And that's very unlike the island carib.
Yeah, this is totally different. It's totally different, and it's a totally different culture also. Although these were Arawakan speakers, that is for sure. And the major thing, we can say we found up there, our work at Escape is actually a continuation of the work the Canadians under Joseph Morvets did a number of months ago at the other further at the same site. We extended that site and found more house patterns, burials, and all that kind of thing. post holes. And now we have one of our members of the faculty of Leiden, faculty of archaeology in Leiden, has arrived, and he is specialist in rock materials, and he immediately identified one of our finds. This is a scraper of flint, a rock material, and he identified this as Antiguan flint. Okay. So this must have come from Long Island, Antigua, in the times of the Celluloid people, and we know that that island is very famous for its flint sources, and that was distributed all over the West Indies, especially in the Leeward Islands, but it reached the Windward Islands as well, and now it's the first time we have identified a piece from Antigua here in St. Vincent.
A piece of glazed ceramic found at the site also excited the team, but left them with some questions. Now you have an interesting glazed ceramic piece over here. What can you tell us?
Yeah, well, we find also at this same site some historic material, and this is from historic times. This is 18th century English or French glazed ware. And the question now is, of course, is this associated with the local island carib material? And that is a question that hasn't been solved yet. It could be because of the fact that we find these things, in a layer which is plowed and close to the surface, and you can get mechanical admixture. But I'll show it to let you know that we also collect this type of material.
According to Professor Boomhert, they will now publish a layout of the excavation, and the artifacts will be placed in the National Trust. Team member Mr. Don van den Bigelaar is expected to return to finish the work. Meantime, persons wishing to get a good view of the work being done in the first kilometer of the runway can do so this Sunday when the Rose Hall Cultural and Development Organization stage a cultural display on the site of the International Airport in the yard of Colonel Anderson's property. The event is scheduled to start at 2 p.m. For more information or for arranged tours to the site, you can call 458-0333.